Hello guys, welcome to Network Beginner. And basically, as the name suggests of this video is particularly on a V-Wire interface in the Palo Alto firewall. So, without wasting any time, let's start with the theory. Then we go for the practical. So, basically, the V-Wire, we can say that it's a virtual wire. Basically, it's a deployment in the Palo Alto firewalls. We can say that allows the devices to be inserted between in a network, we can say that, or like inserted inline into a network without changing the existing topology. This is the main here, without changing the existing topology, because suppose this Linux is our switch and this is router. So suppose these are running in between. If we deploy the Palo Alto firewall, so there is no need to change in a router or a switch. That's what's the meaning basically. It acts as a transparent bridge, because there is no need of routing or no need of switching. Means there is no need of L3 or L2. Basically, it's invisible to the other network devices, because it's and one more thing, it still provides full security inspection. As I already told you in earlier video, VWire is done if we on a switch, because this is not topology X like that. But suppose if there is a switch, so we can walk through tap interface. We can copy the traffic, or copy the packet or a data. So through which we can inspect all the things we need. So basically, the V-wire, you going through physical ports, means those ports 1.2, 1/2, or 1/1. Okay, traffic entering one port. Suppose entering one port, Linux want to go to Google, so /12 it is entering, and outside from this interface 1/1 towards the internet. So traffic entering one port are existing the other. No IP address involved. As I already told you, there is a no L2 use and there is a no L3 use. As we were it's add a security, because without changing any IP address, avoid reconfiguring the routers or switches, deploy a firewall quickly and safely. As I already told you, it's a stealth mode. We can say that, as I already mentioned before, there is no need of IP address in a V-wire. We cannot ping them. Means when we do the trace route, so they didn't appear. The firewalls remains hidden, because when we do the trace route, the TTL value decrement. Why decrement? Because it reaches another node which have IP, which has L3 or L2. But those ports didn't use the L2 or L3. That's why. Okay. So this is like the how we can configure them. We will check on our practical part. So basically, and here, as I already told you before, TTL reservation. VY does not decrement TTL. Keep the firewall hidden during the trace route. So attacker don't know if there is a firewall between them. These are the options when I am configuring the Palo Alto firewall. So we will check all of them. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's start our all the nodes here. Okay. So now let's start from the router itself. Okay. Then because after I configure the router, so I will ping from that Linux. So when the V-wire configuration done, you can check that ping is happening. Okay. So I hope you got that point, what I'm saying right here. So this is the configuration, as I already mentioned that kind of commands on the previous video about the tap interface. So now let's start from the router. No, these are the commands we have to give that config in the router. In one interface, we have to add the DHCP. So through the DHCP, it will take the IP. On this interface, we have to give that interior IP. Then if we want the netting here, so we have to go on that interface, the net outside command, and on the 0/1, the inside command. Okay. as this is mentioning here, we have to create a normal access list command, which is allow, permit, and then the overload pat command. That's it on the router itself. So now let's start. Enable configuration terminal, hostname router 1, interface 01, I think. 01 is here. So IP address 172.168.1.1. Then net mask class C address, no shut, IP net inside exit. Okay. So now interface big 00, I think. Which one? Yes, 00. IP address DHCP, no shut, IP net outside exit. Now outside is done. Now we have to give that access list command, access list one permit any. Now I'm giving the pat command, IP net inside source one. I think this is the command. Yes, source list. Source list one. Interface, the pat interface 00, overload. That's it. Now I have to write those commands. It's already saved. Show IP interface brief. So these interface and has given from the DHCP. So the router configuration is done. I have to configure that Linux. So terminal, first I have to check I have to give me the the commands, the IP address add, 72 I mean, then 1.10/24 minus 3 IP link set minus 3 up IP route. Now we have to give that route, means the default gateway, I mean the route, add default gateway via, this means via from which router 1. So now we have to check IF config. This is now continuously pinging 172.168.1.1. Now as you can check there, destination host unreachable. Okay. Now let's configure the Palo Alto firewall. Admin, by default admin username, password. Now I have give the command configure, then set device config, system type static. Now we have to give that command of IP address and net mask. IP address 192.168.1.1, then net mask, class C address, then default gateway. Then I have to commit. Now commit is happening. So I think commit. Okay, just give me a sec. Okay, it's done. Now from this Linux, this management, now first we have to give the command, then through the web browser, we can access the dashboard of the Palo Alto firewall. IP address add, which 192.168.1.10.24. There is 3 IP link set. Which one? is 3 up IP route add default 192.168.1.1. Just give me as. Okay. I'm forgetting something. Yeah. Yeah, now is okay. I have configure. As you can check there, this is the IP we got 192. Means this IP I already configured 1.10. Now let's try HTTPS 192.168.1.1. This is our Palo Alto firewall IP on management as I already give. Now admin, and then login. Okay. Now here we will see the dashboard of the Palo Alto firewall. Now let's configure the V-Wire. Okay. So first, there is a several options through which we can do it. First, if you want to configure the zone, so you have to click on the zone. As I already mentioned before, then add, we can configure the zone. There is an alternative option. Through the interface, there is a command. Then we have to select the interface, which interface we want to create. It's a virtual wire, Ethernet 1 and 1 2. Okay. So we have to create here a virtual wire. If you don't want to create here, then you have an alternative option on a virtual wire. You have to click here, then you can create on add. Okay. You have options from here as well. Why it is showing none? Because we didn't configure any kind of interface. So you have multiple options through which means there is alternative options. So from out of these, you have to select one. Okay. So I want prefer this method. So I have to select the virtual wire interface. Then on a virtual wire, I am selecting a new V-Wire. So now there is an option link state pass-through. As I already mentioned here, link pass-through. Basically, what happened here? The keep alive messages between those interfaces. So going on. So the Linux and the router, it will ping each other, or if you want to go the internet from the Linux, so it will be. So that's why. These are the keep alive messages between those. So that's why we have take that message link state pass through. And about the multicast firewalling. Multicast means basically if there is any configuration of routing protocol like OSPF or any other. So about the multicast, there is a address around OSPF. It's 224.0.0.5 something. I am not sure, but maybe this. So that kind of message, if you want go between them, so we have to take on that option. Okay. Now we have to create a security zone here. V-Wire security SKZUI security zone. V-Wire is already selected here. Okay. And okay. Now these type of configuration I have to be on the second interface as well. So we have to click interface type V-Wire. Now I have to select virtual wire VW as I already make it. Now the security zone, there is an advanced option here as well, but right now there is no need of that. Okay, so we assign the interfaces. The interface type means virtual wire, and we already created the zones as well. Okay, we assign those zones on both the interfaces. Now here virtual V-Wire we already created on interfaces. When you click here, so there is an option as I already told you before here. So these are the virtual wire we have to create from this option. Okay. So from that option, we already created the virtual wire. As you can check there, those interfaces will be on this 1 and 2. Now we have to create a policy. Security add. Now the security policy name is security RITY security policy. Now we have to give the source Source will be the zone, our V-wire zone. Destination also our V-wire zone. Okay. Now we have to commit. Now let's check here. Our destination host still unreachable or it will pinging. As you can check there, now we'll ping our router which is here. If this Linux take the traceroute command, let's check it. I think on Linux there may be traceroute. So let's see, because I don't know traceroute will be run or not. No, there is a no traceroute command. Maybe next time, or maybe you can install the traceroute on this Linux or on a different Linux in your virtual environment. So will be check if there is a coming or not, because there is no possibility, because there is no L2 or L3 here if you find. So basically that's all about the practical here, and thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day. Thank you all.